It will, because if you force somebody to the ballot box, you ask him to vote, or he goes to prison, what do you expect him to do? If this is what INEC is intending to do, they should not, in fact, they should also join Nigerians in discouraging. You force a horse to the river, you cannot force it to drink. Those voters in those countries who have mandated it, when they go to the ballot box, do you know what they do? Two things. The development is, Ismail, is catastrophic. It's catastrophic considering the situation we are facing in the country. Of course, government policies have not really matured to the extent that citizens will say they have seen dividends and will be comfortable. So there are more pressing issues that the National Assembly should channel their energy towards, instead of concentrating on things, forcing a voter, to go to the ballot box, which I consider a reckless, call, and will be meted out with consequence if they are not careful, because when you push somebody to the wall, you expect any reaction. And at this point, yes, I will tell you it's obtainable in so many parts of the country, but studies reveal even countries that have done it, so many have abolished it. So many have abolished it. Nigerians should know that, especially the National Assembly, whom we have given our confidence. If you want me to consider this a civic duty that is compulsory for me, then there are other compulsory things that you should also be doing that will encourage me to look at this as a compulsory thing to do for you, which means this relationship has to be an intertwining relationship and they will rub on each other, mutually benefiting. But as against you want to force me by, I should go to the ballot box by force to go and vote, either hungry or sick, simply because you want the voter turnout to increase. You don't care about my living standard. It's not a good thing. I'm encouraging the National Assembly at this moment to partner with the executive and the judiciary to make life meaningful for Nigerians, as the president has promised in his vision and mission, and not to be bringing about, bills that they want to pass that will infringe on the right. Mind you, voting is a right, but is not mandated. It's a right that is flexible. You choose when to exercise it. And if you are encouraged, if they really want us to understand that this thing is our duty, I should be seeing dividends of democracy to the grassroots. Meaning, a poor man should put food on the table for his family. He should be able to take his children to the hospital when they are sick and take them to school that is good, which he can afford, and that has made life meaningful for him. Then he will consider voting an obligation. All right. We're in a situation where these things are not playing out. You don't really force him, so they should be withdraw this bill and concentrate on dividend of democracy.
All right. Does the bill has any connection with the re-election of our President Bola Tinubu?
I don't think at all, because if it did, in fact, the president should be the first to even call the attention of the National Assembly at this moment to withdraw this bill, because he is already putting his energy in making sure Nigerians feel the impact of his own time in office. And until that is experienced, voting should not be by force.
All right, you were talking about some countries that they were doing that.
Yeah.
Tell us about them.
Now, for example, countries who have enforced voting are many. About 27 out of 195 countries in the world, which makes about 18%. And again, the ones that are close to us, even in our African countries like Gabon and Egypt, are still they are still using the mandate, making citizens to vote. They mandated it for citizens to vote, but it's flexible because they have attached conditions to it. If you are not in the country as at the time it is happening, you are excused. If you are sick, you are excused, and even the penalty is very small. Now, for countries that we share so many things in common, like Belgium, where it is currently taking place, if you look at the Belgian conditions side by side Nigeria, Mr. Ismail, and Nigerians should be looking at this, because these are comparative ways that you can use to weigh whether we are due to mandate voters to the ballot box, or to allow it, at this stage to be flexible.
Is it even possible to implement it?
I will tell you, it's not, because let me even learn. For those that have forced the voters, let me tell you one of the disadvantages they have been noticing. The voter, like the saying goes, you force a horse to the river, you cannot force it to drink. Those voters in those countries who have mandated it, when they go to the ballot box, do you know what they do? Two things. They either invalidate the ballot paper, or they put it in the box blank. Two things. So you know what that does? It makes the logistic very costly for the government, and at the end, effort becomes wasted. So who loses? The government. Meaning it is even expensive to implement mandatory voting system. So at this stage that we are lacking money and complaining every day about depletion in our excess crude account, in the crude production, and our economy is not really turning around very well. The GDP is low, and inflation is high. Government should concentrate really on boosting agriculture to make sure there is food sufficiency. Thank God there is a policy on it.
Will it lead to anarchy in a situation where Nigerians...
It will, because if you force somebody to the ballot box, you ask him to vote, or he goes to prison, what do you expect him to do? What? Already people are complaining. And this thing, in a way, is even inciting, because it's like you are abusing people's right. And like I said, nobody, will you be at gunpoint on the ballot box to vote? Even if you force me by policies, but when I get to the ballot box, I have a choice. And it's only me and the ballot paper. So what happens next? And you know what it does again? People vote randomly when they are forced to vote, because they don't even know who to vote. So there is a random voting system that also takes place during election. And that brings people who are not capable or competent to occupy some sensitive position. And today, already we are complaining of politicians who are not competent, but yet we see them at the executive, at the legislative, taking responsibilities that they can't even discharge, and it's affecting the system. So now,
INEC has capacity to monitor this, if to say they are doing it.
INEC is already overstretched. And remember, part of the electoral reform is to boost the capacity of INEC to handle this election as it is supposed to be. So, if this is what INEC is intending to do, they should not, in fact, they should also join Nigerians in discouraging compulsory voting, because it's not a good thing. Rather, they should be encouraged, not forced. Because INEC knows, because when you ask 300 million Nigerians, or let's put it within the age bracket as legally, as legal requirement, let's say it is 18 years and above, and maybe that constitutes, let's say, about 60% of our population. Do you know 60% of our population is about 140 million people? Do you know the logistic to make 140 million people to go and vote? It's much, and at the end, if you don't get the desired result, what happens? You have expended government resources, taxpayer, for nothing. So government should really be careful on things like this. The concentration should be on bringing about development, promoting economic growth, bringing about job opportunities, making life meaningful to Nigerians. This is what is expected. The president should really wake up and not allow this thing to take place, because it is going to count for him if the bill doesn't scale through.